All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Thursday, July 25th. We got an 8-game MLB slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, want to go through each and every one of these games. I'm going to give you my lean on the side. I'll give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye on the pinned comment of this video. So the comment that's pinned to the top of the comment section for all of my final plays. If you do want to fade me or if you want to ride with me. Another losing night. That is 3 losing nights in a row, 2 and 3 there. The Brewers, Cubs, first 5 under cashes with ease, and then the Angels, Mariners, Nerfy kind of had to sweat out, but that cashes as well. Those are the 2 early games. And then as the games got later on, we do sweat them. I mean, the parlay almost hits. The Padres Nationals comes down to the bottom of the inning, and then all of a sudden 3 runs get scored. And then even that Orioles team total over. They made us actually watch it, and they end up with 3 runs. So decent looks, but they're just as good as any other losses. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, these last 3 days, this series, this grouping of series that we're going into or leaving now just has been our kryptonite, I guess. But nonetheless, guys, we're looking to bounce back. We're still having a very good July, so I'm not trying to get too down about it. But like I say, just doesn't leave a good taste in our mouth, much like this ride of the day as well. Coming in from Kai, Rays versus Jays. The Nerfy does not hit. The Jays score in the bottom of the first inning there. He did cash for us the night prior, so shout out to Kai for this one, but unfortunately this ride of the day does not come through. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, it is very simple. All you have to use is that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. Give me your favorite play of the day, and then whichever comment gets the most likes right here in the YouTube comments, we'll be jumping on board with and riding with and giving a shout out in the next video, win or loss. And if you win, we continue to ride with your pick. If you lose, unfortunately, you got to face the womp womp, and we do have to talk about it. But make sure you guys look in the comment section and like the plays that you think have the best value and are the best plays. Go ahead and check it out. Let's go ahead and jump into today's slate here. Like I said, a small one, 8-game slate. We're finishing up some series overall, and I couldn't be more thrilled. I think a couple new series as well, but that's kind of what you have from Thursday, sort of like the aftermath of the series that didn't finish up on Wednesday, and then a couple of them start, right? But I couldn't be more thrilled to get some of those behind me because clearly not our best effort in terms of what we saw this past week. But let's go ahead and jump into game number 1 here. Before we do, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. Let's get rocking and rolling. We got Washington taking on San Diego. This is obviously one of the ones that is finishing up. So far, San Diego has been cruising in this one. They win 4-0 in game number 1. They win 12-3 in game number 2 yesterday. And today they have Dylan Cease on the mound, who is a far better pitcher, in my opinion, than what we're getting from Patrick Corbin, both as of late and just in general. And Dylan Cease is going to throw fastball and slider. Washington hits the fastball pretty well, but the slider being his main pitch, Washington 25th in the league in terms of runs above average. So though Washington, their offense is okay, they haven't necessarily shown it in this series over the last 30 days, a middling team against right-handed pitchers. I don't think that they should be able to go out there and really tag up Dylan Cease, who 27 plate appearances against current guys on this roster. He's got an expected batting average against of 156, an X-slugging of 201, and an X-WOBA of 234. So I think we could see a good game out of Cease today, which means I'm going to be riding with the Padres. I think this has a chance of being a final play as well. The one thing that concerns me there is, I guess there's 2. The price tag at -160 seems like it's a little bit too much, right? Especially for a San Diego bullpen that I don't trust. So maybe we end up rolling with like a first 5 play. Maybe it's first 5 run line -0.5 to get some decent odds. Right now that's -120 on DraftKings, so we can solve the price issue. The thing that I'm a little worried about is the fact that it is a game in which, it's an early game, and do the Padres, they've already stomped on Washington in 2 games. Do they put their best foot forward in this spot? But that's the type of thing that I guess you just have to take somewhat of a chance on when betting, because how are we supposed to know if the Padres are fired up for this one or not? So I'm going to try and suppress that thought and trust all the numbers and data in front of us and roll with the Padres. Now, in terms of the total, I want to lean towards the under due to, I think Cease is going to have a really good game against the Nationals, but that's now kind of thrown out the idea that the Padres could go off and rock Patrick Corbin, right? So maybe I just look at the Nationals team total under or a first 5 under or something like that. Some way that we can kind of play an under here where we're still kind of backing Dylan Cease pitching well. I don't want the Padres to get penalized for scoring 12 runs. You know what I mean? So maybe it's a first five Nationals or full game Nationals team total under. All right, Miami taking on Baltimore. This should be one that flips the script. Miami has kind of looked like weirdly enough, I guess the better team so far in this series, which again is like super weird to say. They win 6-3 in both games here. Baltimore made it a game. I think in the 6th inning they tied it up, and then Miami goes out there and scores 3 more. So obviously they end up winning yesterday. We had Baltimore's team total over 3.5. Kind of wish that we pulled that one out, but we didn't. But I wish all of my losses win, right? But nonetheless, here we have a different story. You do have Miami as heavy underdogs, and Baltimore heavy favorites because Corbin Burns is on the mound going up against Roddery Munoz. Around here we call him Frankie Muniz. And you have Baltimore's offense that still should be good, correct? Even though they haven't been. Going up against the Miami offense that still should be bad, even though they necessarily haven't been. So I'm thinking this one flips back to where I feel like it should be. So I'll take a peek at Baltimore some way, shape, or form. Maybe Baltimore -1.5, but even still, the odds for that are pretty crappy. Like -140 on FanDuel right now for them to win by 2 runs. You know what I mean? That's a little bit too much for me to consider. I almost might go over to DraftKings, pay -150 for Baltimore -0.5 in the first 5-run line. Even though it's still juiced, like I can see them winning by 1 run after 5 somehow, some way easier than they would be up by 2 at the end of the game. That's just my crazy logic, just due to the fact that what we've seen so far from, these games in which I think Miami scored early, right, in game number 1, but yesterday Miami scored late. Like, I don't want to get a backdoor cover here, in a sense. So, trusting Corbin Burns, give me them on the run line, but still, it's super juiced. So, this probably doesn't make its way into being a final play, but if it does, that's probably the move that I end up rolling with. And then I'm going to go right back to what we had been cashing last series. We haven't taken it here, but Miami Marlins under 4.5 for a team total. I think you might be getting priced out now just due to the fact that, we have, what's his name on the mound, Corbin Burns. So under 3.5 probably is going to be the move. But again, everything we're saying that we like in this spot is going to be priced out probably. And what I mean by priced out, I get that question a lot. What do I say by what I mean by priced out? It's the fact that we like something, but the line has moved or the odds have moved in such a negative direction for our bet that it's probably not something we end up rolling with. For example, we want Baltimore here on the money line to bounce back, but they're priced out at a point now that Corbin Burns is pitching that we're not going to get odds like we did yesterday. We're not going to get odds like they were when they opened up. You know what I mean? So kind of the price matters here in this spot. So I would lean Baltimore team total over again. Kind of screwed us, but it's either Baltimore team total over or Miami Marlins here team total under in this spot. All right, real quick, guys, let me talk to you about Sleeper. If you have not checked out Sleeper yet, you're missing out on what I tell you all the time, my favorite player prop app out there. They offer more players, more lines, even alternate lines than pretty much all of the other apps out there combined. I'm sure you see on Twitter or on YouTube some plays. You want to go to, some of the other apps out there and enter that play, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, that app removed it. Not Sleeper. They have pretty much every single play that all the other real and legal sportsbooks out there have. So go ahead and check it out, guys. Today, you're going to get this Logan Webb Square as well as 100% of your first deposit matched. I stand by Sleeper. I would back this app and trust that if you downloaded it and signed up and deposited and played, that you'd have a good time. So go ahead and check it out, guys. If it's available in your state and you're not on Sleeper, wake up and go try it out. Again, you'll get a deposit matched with the link in the pinned comment. Go check it out and get this Logan Webb Square today. Let's jump back into the rest of these games here. We got six more. Your boy can do math. Let's go. Cleveland taking on Detroit here. I think we're still waiting on a confirmed pitcher for Detroit. At one point, I saw Reese Olson, and then I've also seen Kenta Maeda here. So we'll see who's pitching for Detroit. Right now, you have Cleveland trotting out Gavin Williams, who isn't a guy that I ultimately love. He has, 4 starts on the season? A couple of them good, couple of them bad. But overall, again, it's just not a guy that I want to be backing. But same thing with Kenta Maeda. But overall, this Cleveland offense really has taken I would say it's taken a step back, and that's going to give me a little reason and rationale here to consider playing Detroit plus 158 today. I get it, Maeda's on the mound, or even Reese Olson. If it's Reese Olson, I'd like that more. I think it's going to be Maeda. I've seen his name on more sites than not. In fact, let's see if there's props out. That's a very good way of figuring out who the books think is going to be the pitcher, right? Let's see if we can find that pretty soon. No Maeda props, and I'm assuming no Olsen props. Yeah, so we're still waiting on that pitcher. So definitely worth a gamble, in my opinion. Usually I tell you guys to do the opposite, right? Wait to get the pitcher. But if you're getting the Tigers here for plus money. I think this could be a decent spot. They win game number 1 8-2. They've lost the next 2 games, but not by all that much, right? 1 run in game 3, in game 2, and then 1 run in game 3. So Detroit for plus 158 here just seems like it could be a decent swing of the bat, no pun intended. So because of the price, I'm going to lean towards Detroit in this one. I think that they're this is a 50-50 spot, and you're getting a price tag of plus 160 nearly. So to me, that makes a little bit of sense. But again, we're being conservative with our units coming out of the All-Star break. It's crazy that we're only like a week removed. So keep that in mind. Like, this is probably maybe even only like a quarter unit play, because we've been doing half unit plays as our full units for the last week or so. This might be like a third of a unit or a half unit, that type of thing. So keep an eye on the pin comp to see what we do, but I could totally see myself rolling with Detroit on the money line, just because I think that this, if it wouldn't surprise me if this is a 2-2 series at the end of it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where my brain is at there. So we'll see what we end up doing. Maybe we wimp out and don't roll with it whatsoever. The total sitting at 8. Yesterday was 2-1, but you had 2 better pitchers on the mound, right? Bybee and Flaherty. Now you have either Maeda or Olsen. Again, Maeda way worse than Olsen, and Gavin Williams, who I'm pretty confident is going to be able to get touched a little bit here. Pause. So I'm going to lean towards the over 8 runs in this spot, but that Detroit, again, money line at plus 158, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I got to check their lineup as well. I'll give that a once over as well, because maybe I'm missing a couple bats out of their lineup, because that number just doesn't make sense to me. For a 50-50 game, in my opinion, getting paid plus 160 seems like it could be a good move. Now watch. Tomorrow we'll be recapping, and Detroit lost by like 1 million runs, right? That's definitely going to happen. All right, Texas taking on Chicago here. We have Max Scherzer on the mound going up against Jonathan Cannon. This is an interest. Now, I've kind of given, weirdly enough, and I don't know why, right? Again, we haven't had a feel for this grouping of these most recent series this year. But overall, I've had like a feeling that Chicago is going to pull something out, right? They've kept 2 games close, and they get smoked yesterday. I was at 10-2. So I do think that this could be closer than some may be predicting, meaning that that minus 270 isn't something that I want to consider. But still, you do have Scherzer on the mound against Jonathan Cannon, right? Like, there is an advantage there, even though Scherzer has kind of been like, he hasn't been full Max Scherzer. He's still a better pitcher than Cannon. So the way that I want to play this gets a little dicier. I'm almost thinking of looking at like a first 5 under, if we can get it at 4.5, and then also Texas Rangers on the money line. Like, I think that this could be a lower, like, I don't think Texas is going to totally get to Cannon, but even if they do, like, say they score 4 runs or 5 runs in the first 5, if we can alternate line for a same game parlay is what I'm getting at, by the way. First 5 under overall, and then Texas Rangers money line. I think that could be something that works, because I think that the White Sox are going to have trouble getting to Scherzer. The reason I would do first 5 is because both of these bullpens kind of stink. So I know the Chicago offense stinks, but I don't want to be going into the late innings being like, well, now Scherzer's out of the game and we kind of have just bad pitchers altogether. You know what I mean? To kill like an under overall. So I might do an alternate line for first 5 under, and then consider full game Texas Rangers money line. That may be the way that we could do it. We could probably work with some odds to get something good there, because again, I trust Scherzer. I don't think that Texas necessarily crushes and pulls away with it, but I trust Scherzer enough to keep the White Sox offense down in the first 5 innings, and I kind of just trust Texas enough to win the game, but not at a minus 270 price tag. So a lot of talking there for, essentially saying I want to do a same game parlay to make these odds work. Total wise, it's sitting at 8. Like I said, I don't think I'd play the full game total. I like the first 5 total, even considering without the same game parlay. If you can get it at like 4.5 for decent odds, which we could check right now what we're looking at for a price, because it's going to matter what the price is for sure. So first 5 total right now, if you can get under 4.5 for minus 115, yeah, I mean that seems like it'd be a spot for a single play in this game as well. And that's like backing Texas and Scherzer. That's me saying I don't think Texas scores 5 runs themselves in the first 5, but I don't think the White Sox have the easiest time getting to Scherzer. All right, Toronto taking on Tampa Bay. Not exactly my favorite spot today with this minimum amount of games. I feel like we might be forcing something if we do want to, get something going on this. We have a 4-2 win for Tampa Bay in game 1. Or was that game 2 of this? Yeah, game 1 of the series, right? This 3-game series. And then a 6-3 win yesterday for Toronto. Today we have Chris Bassett on the mound, who I wouldn't trust as far as I could throw him. He's coming off like 3 straight bad starts. His last start against Tampa Bay, I think he has 2 this season. Neither one of those were anything to write home about. Taj Bradley on the mound for Tampa Bay. He's been looking really good, guys. Has struggled to some degree on the road this season, sure. But, you know, he's coming off a good start against the Yankees on the road, in which he went 7 innings of scoreless baseball. So I'll give him a little bit of credit there, right? Then he had a good road start against, I want to say it was Texas a couple starts ago. So I'd trust the Rays in this spot. But again, I feel like we're forcing something with this game, because I do think this is a 50-50 game. The only better side, the only argument I can make is that Taj Bradley seems to be way better than Chris Bassett. But then if you do kind of want to make an argument offensively, I think that's where Toronto kind of wins some points here. So I'll lean towards Tampa Bay. Maybe we look at Toronto team total first 5 under, something like that, so that we can back Taj Bradley, but don't have to worry about the bats of Tampa Bay getting the job done, anything like that. Because, again, like I think Taj Bradley miles ahead of Chris Bassett at this point, but if I'm being honest, if we look at the offense, and we started to go through those numbers, which, you know, you definitely can, that's when you're going to start making an argument for Toronto, right? So that's what I mean by we're forcing some. So I'll look at Tampa Bay money line, but it's really backing Bradley. So the way we do that is probably hybridize, which I'm coining that word. We kind of make a hybrid play between that and the total, meaning we shift those towards each other and say, okay, you know what? We don't like the full game total. We like Toronto's team total as well as their first 5 team total under. So could be something that we end up pulling out there. We do have a player prop that I like in this spot here. Taj Bradley under 2.5 earned runs. Right now that's -155 on Caesars. It's -170 on DraftKings and -175 over on MGM. So I think you have some pretty good value there if you can get it at that price tag. And then another spot that I'm considering, I don't know if we're going to roll with it just yet, because again, like I don't know about Chris Bassett, but kind of taking a peek here at Isaac Paredes under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Same thing with Taylor Walls. So again, I don't know if I'd roll with both of those guys, but under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I just don't know if I want to trust Chris Bassett. I like them versus, you know, the right hand and that type of thing. Like, for example, Walls is batting 133 against righties this season. Like, that seems like it could be a decent spot to pull trigger, right? But it's still Chris Bassett. That's a little bit softer, I would say, of a right hand. So keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if we roll with any of those player props. But you kind of catch my drift now, right? When I say, are we forcing something? Because we like multiple plays in this game, 3 player props. It's like, I already told you it's not my favorite game. So feel like we found some value, but it feels like we found too much value. So, you know, maybe it's all smoke and mirrors. But if you guys made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment force down below. Let me know that you heard that little rant. And you know I'm probably going to end up playing on that game more than I wanted to. So let's see how disciplined Ev is today. But as we move on here, we got the Dodgers taking on the Giants. Now, this is interesting. Clayton Kershaw listed to be the starter here for this one, which I'm super excited about. We haven't seen him this season, right? So gonna be something very, very exciting. I think he had, what, 20-something starts last year, 2.46 ERA. Like, Clayton Kershaw is Clayton Kershaw. He's gonna be a stud as long as it's a regular season, and maybe that's even a low blow. But to me, I want to see what we have from him before we end up rolling with him. He doesn't have the best of numbers. He doesn't have bad numbers, okay? Best of numbers against the Giants' current roster. Same thing with Logan Webb. Like, pretty good numbers. It's not like shutdown numbers, but these two guys are kind of in the same boat there. So I'm a little, you know, weary of rolling with the Dodgers, just saying, hey, Kershaw's back, getting excited. Like, I will be watching this, and I do think that it's awesome that he's coming back, and because he's just such a good pitcher and has been for years, right? Again, regular season. But Logan Webb's also a very good pitcher. The thing you could say with Logan Webb, it's like, well, has he been a very good pitcher? Because got hit up by Toronto, got hit up by Colorado. That was in Colorado, though, so maybe we give him a break. But to me, it's like, okay, like, you're looking at a guy that has the name. Some people say he has the looks because they say I look like him, so stud. But I would say that, you know, he still has the edge here, even though he's been kind of rocky. I just don't want the Dodgers offense to you know, go off and rock him. And it's like Kershaw could still have a mediocre game and let up like 5-6 runs. But what if the Dodgers get to Webb? Because again, he's had a pretty bad, like that start against Toronto was nothing to write home about. 5 innings pitched. He allowed, I want to say it was like 9 base runners, 7 earned runs over those 5 innings, nearly 20 pitches per inning. So yeah, again, kind of on the fence here in this one. I'll lean San Francisco, but I need Logan Webb, obviously, to come through in this spot because it's going to come down to pitching overall. But for +1, what do we have for odds here? I think I just saw it. +122, +120 on Facebook. Yeah, Facebook's a new sports book. +120 on FanDuel. Seems like that could be the value side, but who knows? I could see a lot of people out there today being like, you know what, Kershaw's on the mound, let's go. I just want to see Kershaw pitch well before we jump on board with them as minus 140 favorites. I'm going to lean towards the over as well. Like I said, there's such a strong chance that this Dodgers team can get to Webb the way he's pitching, and then we don't know Kershaw, how he's going to react, how many innings they're going to give him, and that type of thing. So I'm going to lean towards the over as well. All right, we got the Mets taking on the Braves. Can I get a freaking Nerfy in with Chris Sale? He's been postponed twice now. He's listed to start in this one, going up against Severino. I like the Nerfy for this spot. I've been frustrated because that's been my favorite Nerfy for 2 days, and it's gotten rained out. Now, I will say, the rain is like part of the reason why I like the Nerfy, right? But overall, it's like, oh my God, can we get this thing going? You have the Mets who, won that Subway Series, so give them credit there. They're playing good baseball, but I do think that Chris Sale on the mound, you're very rarely going to get Chris Sale for these odds, minus 110 right now. So I'm going to lean Braves. Is Chris Sale potentially frustrated that all of his games just keep getting rained out and stuff? Potentially. Like he's getting geeked up and ready to go, and then he just doesn't even get to go. Maybe, but I think that, you have a good spot for the Braves here. I'm probably going to be betting this just due to the fact that, again, like you're never getting odds like this for Sale. Like I know the Mets are good, and that's why the odds are there, but think about what you're getting against the Reds. Like Chris Sale's minus 230 yesterday, or the Braves are minus 230 in game number 2. So I think this could be a decent spot, and at least worth trying to pull the trigger. I know that the Braves are absolutely banged up, and they seem to be dropping guys like flies. And I understand that the Mets seem to be hitting a stride after scoring 12 runs on the Yankees yesterday. I could see a path to the Mets for sure. But to me, Chris Sale, sales. Let's do it. Atlanta money line here. In terms of the total, I like the under, but I think I'm more likely to play the Nerfy in this one. So I'm probably going, I'm not even kidding. I might have 2 bets in this one, even though with an 8-game slate. Atlanta money line, and then first inning total under 0.5, which is the Nerfy. No runs in the first inning. So keep an eye on the pinned comment. We've been ice cold, guys. I have a Fade Me shirt on. I don't want to force things, but I also don't want to get scared, right? Like scared money don't make money. I like both these plays. This is not like Tampa Bay and Toronto where I feel like we found value. I like both these plays. So even putting 2 plays in the same game here, yeah, if it loses, then it loses, or if they lose, then they lose. But I like both of them, and if I keep them in a vacuum, I like them both independently. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Scared money don't make money. All right, Angels taking on the A's. We're just like a week removed from the comment section ripping me because I did not care about this series. Yeah, they played 2 series ago, and I was like, I don't really have much interest in this and all that and blah, blah, blah. And when you know it, I look ahead in the schedule and I'm like, it's coming up again. So screw you guys that rip on me for saying that I don't care about it. I'd rather tell you transparently that I don't love this series. Still might bet it because I'm a psycho, but that I don't love this series rather than you guys thinking me giving you numbers and stuff like that is like faking confidence, right? So I'm not gonna let those comments get to me. If I don't care about a series or a game, I'll tell you that I don't really care about it. But today, we have on the mound here, Kenny Rosenberg is listed to start, who has a 6. I don't think he has. Does he have any starts this season? Maybe. I think he's only appeared in a couple games, and he hasn't been great. Going up against Ross Stripling, who again, kind of in the similar boat. Not someone that I really want to back or anything like that. He's been out for, I forget his last start, but he's been out for a little while here. But even still, his numbers on the season kind of stink. But Oakland against, in fact, let's go into the dashboard here. By the way, plug in this thing. If you guys don't know what this is our MLB dashboard. Become a channel member, $2.99 per month. I'll put a link in the pinned comment. It'll be in the description. And there should be a big old join button right here on YouTube next to the subscribe button after you subscribed. $2.99 a month. You literally get every game broken out every day from a batting, pitching, bullpen, pitch mix perspective and all that. And why I made this, to go on a quick rant here, is because I wanted to get this to a point where you could open this up and say, okay, where is the value in this game? Where is the green? Right here. Oakland's bats against lefties last 30 days, right? Red, orangey red, green. So to me, there could be a bet on Oakland in this series, even though I don't like it, but this is pretty hard to ignore, right? Especially the fact that you have cutter and fastball as 2 of his main pitches, Kenny Rosenberg here. And I don't know how many innings he's going to give them, but fastball 6th best in the league in terms of, batting that one for Oakland. Cutter first. So, go download, go become a channel member, and you guys can get a link every single day on the members page here to get access to this dashboard. But like I said, I don't love this spot, but it's really, really hard to ignore even money. Plus 100 on FanDuel right now for the A's, who I'm not going to say the A's are playing good baseball, but they've won 6 of their last 10. They won 2 of 3 in last series against the Angels, and then 2 of 3 against Houston, which is kind of, crazy. But the Angels have been playing well, too. They just swept forget who they just swept, but they just swept somebody. They had a series in which they played Miami, the Marlins, right? Nope, Mariners. They won like 3 out of 4 against Seattle, lost 2 of 3 against A's, and then swept Seattle again. So the Angels can't really tip your nose at that, but I just showed you what I like. That the bats have been hotter for Oakland. In terms of a total here in this spot, maybe team total over for the Athletics if we can get it at a good number. If we can get this for like 3.5, which I don't know if we can, that seems like it could be a decent spot to roll with, because I think that I like them to be able to go out there and score 3 runs. If it's 4.5, I'd probably stick away from it. I'd hope for plus money, that type of a thing. But guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Hope you guys did enjoy. 25 minutes in. If you made it this far, also comment 25. I know I gave you the force comment earlier, but let me know that you made it to that benchmark and this checkpoint, so would appreciate the hell out of that. And yeah, seriously, we've had a cold last 3 days, but you still see me smiling, still see me dunking on gumpies and that type of thing, because we've had a crazy good July. Like, we've had a July that has exceeded our season so far in terms of units and record wise and whatnot. We were 47 and 23 before yesterday, and now we're 49 and I want to say 26 if I don't have that wrong. So that's a crazy record in July. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not getting upset about a 2-3 night or 1-2 night like we've had 3 days in a row. I want to bounce back. I don't want to lose. I get that, but you know what? As an average sports bettor here, that I self-proclaimed average sports bettor, I think that that's pretty damn good. So, anyways, we'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, peace out.